staged. This doesn't look real. And so he listened to that one person, and then we couldn't post any of those videos.
Yeah, we had some pretty cool interviews. You were interviewing like the members, right? Like you had like your own kind of show, right? What was it called?
Yeah. I have no idea, but I had created a talk show where I was interviewing all the.
I don't do it for. I'm not building my family so I can get clout from the shit. You know,
interviewing all the members. But then what happened was that white girl Pee Wee. I interviewed. Kind of like
incriminated.
Trying to get the comments together.
Incriminated him, and then people were like, "She did what?" I don't remember what it was, but he was like, "No, you gotta take." Because I had interviewed Flo, I had interviewed somebody. Like I was just really good at talking to people and opening up, and so he was calling me Oprah, and so I don't know what the show was, but and then once that happened, he took that video down and was like, "I couldn't do that anymore." Yeah. Yeah. And then she ended up getting in trouble for that. Yeah, she ended up getting in trouble for what she said. Like when I say trouble, he just yelled at her. Yeah. There's so many things. It's like when we sit and talk about it, me and Kessel sit and really talk about our experience with carbonation. There's so many things that we forgot. So when me or Ketzel, when we're talking about it, we're only giving you our perspective. But if we got all the ex-members together, they will be able to fill in the blanks or the missing parts about the story. You know what I mean? Like, but we can only give you our perspective. Okay.
Like one example is like when we went to have Zen. We don't know what happened back at the house when we left and what they were going through and what was happening. So, like, they will be able to tell us, the conversations they were having when that was going down.
Mm-hmm. Peace.
Peace and blessings. Blessings and peace. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. Like I said, I've been following y'all for a minute, y'all. Like I said, it's interesting just to come up here on the live and, just be able to, interact with y'all for, like I say, especially you, Serenity, or I'm sorry, you go by Grace.
Yeah, you have to apologize. I got many names. You can even call me Stephanie if you want to.
Okay.
Like
I want to call you the appropriate name.
Yeah, Grace is correct.
Same with you, Ketso. So I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. But so, Grace, I've been following you before I actually seen Carbonation. And yeah, because that you to me was the introductory of Carbonation. I didn't know anything about Nature Boy or any of the stuff that the other members. So once I first started seeing your live streams on Facebook, that's kind of, what caught my attention, and then, yeah. So overall, it's like the introductory of seeing all of the stuff that went down. It was kind of deep. I started seeing all of the people that were talking about, the movement from Ashe Divine, a lot of these other content creators. And I thought it was very deep, but also I will say that there were some knowledgeable moments, as far as when it comes down to the stuff that you was talking about, the stuff that even, all the Carbonation members were talking about. I feel like there was some things. Now, it was towards the time period of when Nature Boy he started going live on Bigo. That's when I started coming into the mix live on the live stream, and I was, we was doing our, just our conversations and just having builds and stuff, you know, he really admired just me being on the panels and stuff. He took a liking just to my whole vibe and my whole spirit. But at the same time, you know, I have my own story just to share, you know, that was kind of just very universal, that was different outside of what y'all, you know, experience. So, you know, it's kind of interesting just how we can, you know, be able to have this type of build and just, you know, hear, you know, our personal experiences, and maybe there might be some things that you can key in on, certain things that I can key in on. But, yeah.
Yeah. And that's what it's about. It's about, you know, we all have our perspective. Like I see people that said, I talked to him personally. You know, I met him personally. And it's like, this is what I got. And if somebody could have had a different experience. And even with the ex-members that were there all the way to the end, like they really traumatized each other. Okay. It just wasn't him. They did that to each other. So I could only imagine like what they went through after they left and realized how they were acting and what they were doing. Like, I've never gotten into a fight with anyone. So, you know, I almost did, but I never hit anyone. You know, maybe my man, like, you know, and I just telling on myself, but you know, but I never got into a physical fight like that. So I can only imagine them leaving and then sitting there like, damn, I did that. Like, damn, I'm capable of that. You know what I mean? Because when you saw the Three Gods episode, they all was crazy. They all was just like, yeah, like why you hurt? Like, why you slapping each other? Like, it was all of them doing that. And so I can only imagine how they're processing it. Now that
I wanted to say this in that regard. It's interesting that you brought the whole slapping, because they tried to, I noticed that during that the trial, they tried to tie it up to the Chris Rock situation with Will Smith. And I'm like, really? Y'all going to use this excuse? Like, this was all an act. Now, I can understand when he came to Bigo, a lot of the stuff was for entertainment.
Okay.
So I could see, you know, a lot of this, anybody that knows about that platform and just being over there, you know, it was all for money, all for beans and stuff. But I think a lot of the stuff that he was doing was reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be his word against theirs, whether or not they was really acting or what. I wasn't there, you know. So, but like I said, you don't play with the name of God. Don't be playing with spirituality like that. Don't be acting and doing characters in the name of spirituality, in the divine. You know what I mean? You don't do that. Like, and they was, and they didn't have nothing good coming to them. Like, they don't play. Like, you have your own characters and your skits, but don't play with God. Don't play.
Right. Yeah, because ultimately, the time period when I first started following and just watching and checking them out, you know, I was like, I had some questions for God. You know, my attitude was like, are you really doing these practices? Because my thing was, I come into the whole mix of never eating meat, never eating dairy, you know, strictly vegan. My parents have, you know, a background of mucusless diet healing system. Like I said, we come under not Dr. Sabi, but Professor Arnold Eric's message. But the thing about it was everything that he said leading up to this point, and, you know, through years and years of, just the timelines contradicted everything that he said within a couple of months. And I was like, man, why are you going back to eating, dead animal flesh? Like, why? Like, what? Like, you was just talking about eating or not eating animals and stuff, and eating raw. And I was like, what the heck is going on? So everything just contradicted. It was a whole contradictory with the whole teachings and the message, I thought.
Well, when it came to the food, yeah, because I think Ketzel, it was a rude awakening for him too, that he thought we were going to be coming there eating raw and eating a certain way. When he got there, that was not the case.
Yeah, I was raw vegan for like 2.5 years before I got there, and then when I got there, they was eating cooked food and stuff. So I switched up my diet, and then we started eating like Chinese food and stuff like that. Yeah, it was just like I think a lot of us thought there was gonna be more discipline in some areas, but there was still discipline, but it was just in different areas. Like we were expected to sit and listen to him talk whenever he spoke and went live. That was a discipline that I didn't expect. But as far as the food, I had my own discipline ideas that I thought I was going to be able to maintain. So it's like, it's not that there wasn't discipline, it just wasn't in the areas or how I thought it was going to be. So, I mean, to me, like my understanding of food, I don't give food that much power anymore. I think that you can be raw vegan and still be a terrible person, still not acknowledge parts of yourself. I look at food as just powering our frequency, whatever frequency you
I
choose to
had to
be
do
on
that
through
to
your
make the
thoughts. Food is
comments
giving you
move.
energy to execute that frequency. So that's more so my relationship and my understanding of food, because I was coming from similar mucusless diet. I remember reading Arnold Ehret. Remember reading a lot of these early 1900s, teachings about food, and even like the whole alkaline thing and stuff like that. Yeah, but I just think that when it comes to spirituality and your own self understanding and reflection, like it's deeper than that. It's deeper than what you just like. The food's not going to do the work for you to heal your relationships. The food's not going to do the work for you to face yourself and how you respond in the face of adversity. Like it's many layers to how we can self-reflect, and obviously, our health is one component of those. It matters, but I think there's also other components that, we have to address.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, to an extent. I mean, overall, I feel like, things do change, but I just feel like if you are somebody, that is, a teacher, or, you proclaim yourself, as God or this messenger, I feel like you're holding yourself with a very, very high privilege, of this figure. And, it's like, you can't, 1 plus 1 is not 4 or 5. You got to always continue to have some type of basis of where you're going, and it's not necessarily, people going, experimenting, and, it's just, if you're somebody that is a teacher, I feel like, that was the weirdest thing to me. So overall, that was kind of why, one of my reasons on why me and him, had our, our disbeliefs, because we bumped heads on really a lot of that. There was other things that played in mind when it came down to a lot of the people that participated or went there, that I was kind of, I had a relationship between meeting them people, and I felt that was very disrespectful to me of how he treated them, in a sense.
But you know, everybody has an idea of like what they think, how they think a teacher should come, and I think that's a mistake, because we should be looking for the lessons in everything, and asking ourselves why things have manifested themselves in our lives. So when we say like, oh, he should have been this way, he should have been that way, like, no, he was exactly who he needed to be to do what he needed to do to awaken people in ways that we might not like, agree with, or feel comfortable with, but it was a necessary mechanism to help people wake up in some manner. I mean, if you go to India, it's not just all love and light. They have some gurus who are going to put you through the darkness to see the light. That's accepted in their culture, but because we come from a Western culture that things need to be a certain way, we don't value the darkness. We don't value what we might deem negative or wrong or bad as a mechanism for us to see ourselves. But that's how reality works. Sometimes people have to see the darkness to be able to like wake up to the light, and he just served as a catalyst for that. So, you know, I don't think like he should have done anything different or been anything else. I just hope that I can tap into myself, the lessons that I was supposed to learn from that situation and that person, that being and specific energy that came to manifest itself to expose whatever it came to expose, you know. And, you know, there'll be others that are love and light and that are here to give you the love and light and hug you and nurture you in that way. But that just wasn't him. That wasn't his energy. That wasn't what he came to do. And, you know, accepted that.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Fluke, for coming on. I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for coming to build with us.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, thank y'all for the opportunity. Like I said, I will hope to build with y'all again more.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Good talking to you, brother.
Hey, I'm grateful.
Yeah. I'm going to share a book. When I get off this live, I'm going to share a book. It's a book my friend gave me. The Left-Sided Guru. And in this book, and my friend, she's been in this type of stuff over 50 years. Like, I'm going to bring her back on my page, and we're going to go live, and she's going to tell y'all.
We're going to show them that picture of that book.
I'm going to share that book in my story about the left-sided guru, because this situation is making me want to really study, like, these energies and these deities, these entities that come in our lives, and for what reason? Because I know that Alicia came in my life for a reason. I know that I had to go into the darkness to find my light. Okay, I know that I had to see what I was made of. Okay, I had to see what I was made of, and yeah, I'm going to share that with y'all, because it's funny, because we only want to get chastised by the mother, but daddy got to chastise you too. Like, that mother-father energy is two different energies.
Yeah. We only got to get like nurtured by the mother. Like, we want the warmth of the nurturing, but we don't want like the stern and discipline of the father.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to like really diving into that book, and I'm going to share it in my story. But it's really me, like, really want to study like the dark entities and how they are just as like impactful and healing for our transformation. Jenny, she said, caught y'all on King World last night. Such a grateful circle conversation. Wasn't it though? I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't even, because you know how King World can be. And I'm just like, wow, like, this is so amazing that.
So there was people that were like getting something from it.
I told you, I was like, and that's the thing I learned from Eligio. Like, that's why he used to go live and go on people's panels, because there's always someone there that's going to resonate. It don't matter if everybody, majority of people hating on you, don't agree with you. There's always, you planting seeds. We planting seeds, you know, and we're going to be an example no matter where we're at. See, it's easy for me to come on my platform and talk my talk and do all this, but can I still maintain who I am, even on your platform, when I know you don't agree with me at all? And that conversation that we had with King World and his wife, it really taught me, or showed me, how Nature Boy had how I was a good student of his, because I was able to go and articulate and communicate, listen to their side, and not even feel like they had to be on my side. And it made me think about the song that he had. Like, I am you and you are me. Let's stop fighting one another. Y'all remember? That's what it's about. I don't gotta fight you just because I'm standing on truth. You don't gotta fight me because you're standing on truth. We can have a civil conversation. Show me where you coming from. I'll show you where I'm coming from. And I felt really empowered last night talking to him.
Yes. Mick Jones said that's very strange that you were to go on his platform. And yeah, I mean, I definitely understand that because before, yeah, like whenever he come in our lives, we blocked so many of his accounts. It's just because there wasn't no dialogue before. It was like he was just coming at us and saying, "Where's Mama Dia? What happened to Mama Dia?" And we were just getting sick and tired of him just coming at us in that way. And but yesterday it was just a different tone. Now, I mean, he was saying like, "Oh, you guys are safe now because Nature Boy's locked up." But we're like, no, now we can actually have a conversation because now you got what you wanted, and so you don't have to attack us, and we actually can have a conversation, right? So we got on there and just had a conversation, and it definitely was different than before because before he was just like always trying to come at us and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we have really learned to share our perspective even when we know we're sharing it with someone that doesn't agree. And we're at peace with that. Like, well, I don't have to argue with you. You believe that? Okay, well, I can see where you're coming from. I don't agree, but cool. Let's have a discussion still. And it's just I think it takes a high level of maturity and understanding to be able to do that. Because most people they only want to share their perspective to convince you. They're not trying to share their perspective to have a conversation and to consider yours. They're trying to indoctrinate you or convince you of their perspective. And so, like we just share it and put it out there to whoever resonates with it, cool, or maybe they can learn something from it, or maybe not. But it doesn't matter. We're just sharing what we're sharing because we feel called to, and that's where we're moving from. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I saw that. Like I said, I just don't like them, and that's okay. Like you don't have to like them, but for me and the way I move, I don't want to have no malice in my heart for no one, because I know how it works. Don't hold no malice, nothing on no one, because what happens is you're gonna hold that energy in your heart and you're gonna take it with you. So no, I don't hate no one. And that conversation that we had with King, I'm not looking for them to change or do whatever. That was an opportunity for me to change. For me to see what I'm made of, and to be able to be civil and not getting my ego, just you know what I mean, and not be afraid. And like really, it was like, and I really actually learned a lot. Like I didn't realize that King, he been following Eligio before Eligio became Nature Boy. Like he's had a perspective that most of us don't have. Like, so he's looking at it from that standpoint. See, I'm looking at it from when I came in, when they were Melanation and they was starting to make music and it was starting to really be a move. I came from that. So I was like, okay, I got to respect his perspective because he might have seen something that I definitely wasn't there to witness. So I was like, okay, I give him that. And each and every one of y'all, like some of y'all came in like around 2020 when you came in at that was a whole different energy. And so I just have that's why I asked them, what are you guys into this natural lifestyle, this eco village nature concept? Because I wanted to understand where they were coming from. So when they said like, nah, we don't even want to go outside because the bugs, like, or nature, like we just want to stay inside. I understood that not only did they see someone who they felt was taking advantage of people or manipulating people, but they also didn't resonate what he was talking about. So of course they had a perspective of him that was like only negative, that I don't see no benefit, right? He was like, what did he teach you? He didn't teach nothing. He was on bullshit the whole time. Like he was just a bad person. I get it. I understand, but for those of us that even still, whether Nature Boy is alive, dead, free, or in jail, we still resonate with nature and the message that he shared, whether he came through him or was from him or from somebody else. It wasn't about none of that. It was just like we on a certain path and we're seeking a certain life, and he just happened to overlap with that for some of us. And so like for those that still feel that way, like they're still on that path and that journey. They don't have to vilify that or lock it away because it's still a part of them. But for, people like King World, like he just saw it as like, this is a bad guy. Like even the lifestyle is stupid. All of it is stupid. So let's just lock him up and get back to, civilization or whatever, you value. And so I get it, but that's not what we on. We still on what we on, like it was still us. It was us. That's who we are. And that's what you have to come to terms with at some point, that what was you? You have to understand what was you, or was it all a lie? Did you go there and you didn't believe in none of it? None of it was you? So you're just going to go back to college and go back to work a regular job and go live in the city? Like, okay, I mean, that's fine, but I'm just saying, like, that's crazy. That boggles my mind because that was a part of me, and I know it's a part of me still, and it will always be a part of me. It wasn't just some shit I was faking and fun. I mean, I definitely didn't speak up about certain things that were pertinent to the situation we were in. But as far as wanting to get back to nature and connect back to myself and understand myself and have knowledge of self, that's in me. That's the desire that I have. That's intrinsic to who I am. Like, I'm not gonna toss that out just because a specific situation didn't go a certain way, So that's kind of, I think, what I have to contend with myself.
Mm-hmm. Somebody said, Cleo said, Nature Boy has a lot of supporters. Why do you think very little people showed up at trial? Well, I can't speak for why people didn't show up. I just think it was very telling for the ones that did show up to be on the prosecution. It was just very telling. We understand why they was there. You know what I mean? Well, most of them, not every single one of them. We knew that these were the ones that were that was going to bring him down. Like, but for me, the reason why I can say why I didn't, because the story needed to play out. I'm not trying to defend anyone. I'm not trying to defend anyone. They got themselves there. He got himself there, and I spoke to him on the phone when he was in jail. I'm like, look, if you don't change your heart, you're not getting out. And even Ketzel said that I said, this is spiritual warfare. It's not about whether you innocent or guilty. You can change this by changing your heart. And he thought he knew better than me, and he's the teacher and I'm the student, and it went out one ear and the other, and that's fine. But I didn't feel a need to get on stand and say anything because, one, I wasn't there. So I thought the case was about the situation between him and Janae. So, but then other than that, I just felt like y'all know what my motto, they got what they deserve. So it's not, I don't need to go there. What about you, Ketzel? What was your perspective on it?
On not going to.
So why do you think, and then why people didn't, and why didn't you guys?
Yeah, I think that people were seeking justice and they sought it in the way that they felt was possible for them, because I think we sought our own justice in our own way when we called him in jail and confronted him, when we told him what we told him. We sought justice. We took justice into our own hands and said, like, we're taking back our power. We don't need to take you to court or get you locked up. Like, we are able to overcome and empower ourselves without that, and so, but some people felt like that was impossible for them. They felt like they needed to incarcerate him and put him in this institution. And, like that's okay. That's what they felt like they wanted to do. And, I just always revert back to operating from a spiritual place, right? A place of higher understanding, deeper understanding, because the prison system is a modern system, right? Like it's something that came about as civilization, that we have the resources to build these structures and pay people to keep these people incarcerated. But as far as nature is concerned, and the lessons that we have to learn from people that have these energies and take these actions, like you'll never be able to stop that. You can never stop the lessons that the universe is here to teach you, no matter how many people you lock up. So it's like there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. You can lock people up, but the lessons and the challenges will continue. So how can I empower myself so that I am capable and built to be able to learn the lessons, to withstand, to hold my boundaries, all these things, to have these characteristics and be the person that I need to be so these things aren't a threat. That was the route I felt was the best, highest route that I could take, and so because we did that, I didn't need to go and be part of the trial, because everything outside of that has nothing to do with me. Like, everybody is going to take action how they best see fit, and they're going to move how they best see fit. So I already took my action. I didn't need to go and participate in that because I was already at peace with the understanding that I had from the situation, And
it made me think about what you said. Like, I don't support the system of society, aka Babylon. So I'm not going to take him to a system that he was trying to teach us to overcome and be sovereign from. So why I'm going, now that I ain't get my way, or now I felt like you treated me badly, I'm gonna go over here and tell on you and get them to. I didn't look at it that way. I'm like, well, okay, it didn't work out. I take it to the gym. We'll move forward. I bet you ain't gonna me again. I bet you gonna talk to me like that again. I bet you ain't gonna disrespect me again. That's this between me and you, Eligio. Whatever I got to say, whatever you done to me, I'm gonna let you know. You're gonna hear my pain. You're gonna hear what
No, did it end? Hold on, y'all.
and I'm so thankful that I was able to do that. And he did apologize. Don't matter if he did. It don't matter if he didn't really mean it. But that's how I look at it. I'm like, no, I'm going to address you because you hurt me. And it took me few years, y'all. It took me a few years to be able to have a conversation with Legio about how I felt that he disappointed me and how he disrespected me. But I went to him like a grown-ass woman and went to him and let him know, and he was like, damn, I didn't know you felt that way. And I was like, well, yeah, and so that's why I was even able to have that conversation with King World, because I'm like, no, I'm gonna come to you. I ain't gonna sit here and say I don't like you. I ain't like the way no, I'm gonna come to you like a grown-ass woman and we're gonna have a conversation. Yeah. And so that's what I got out of it.
But we I feel like we were always vocalizing, because even when he lied about you in the whole, AIDS situation, we confronted him about that, right? And the thing is that people just didn't like the confrontation of having to confront Nature Boy because he's a really strong energy. But the lesson there is you got to be able to speak truth and confront and hold people accountable even when they got a strong energy. You have to, or else this situation will unfold the way it unfolds. Because if you don't tell people, no, that's not right, I don't like that, I can't accept that behavior from you, then they'll think that all their behavior is acceptable. And so, we did that, and we were hesitant because we knew he wasn't going to take it well, but we still did it. And, he took it how he took it. He came back, apologized a couple of days later. But, you have to be willing to be that voice. And if you learn anything from this situation, is that you have to, even if your voice shakes, to speak the truth. You know what I mean? Like, and so can you tap into that? Of course, everyone can speak the truth when it's easy, when there's no force that's going to, basically challenge you on it. You can always do the thing when it's easy, but can you do it when there's pressure applied, when there's adversity? And so you have to be able to do that, or else you'll allow these kind of situations to play out.
Yeah. That's true. And I think that was why I was able to give birth to my son, because Nature Boy, even though I did our Legio, even though he for me to do that I didn't want to do. When I say that, I'll give y'all an example. It was one time when I was pregnant, and I was 4 months pregnant, and we were at the water, and everybody was jumping off the cliff. And this one cliff, I did not like this one cliff. It didn't have enough running space. You had to climb up the mountain, and then you only had enough to pivot and jump off. And the water was deep, and it was a long jump. And I remember Mama Dia, she ended up busting her lip jumping off the cliff. But he didn't. I don't know if he told her to jump off the cliff. She just wanted to be a part of what we were doing, because she was older. But she ended up busting her lip. And so I remember I told y'all I didn't want to jump off the cliff. because I was like 4 months pregnant by that time, and then he was like, "No, you got to jump off the cliff," and I was like, "I don't want to jump off the cliff." Like I was scared, and then in that moment, because like you was with me, and at that moment, he was like, "Well, if you don't jump off the cliff, you got to go home." And I was like, "Oh," and he was like, "Because what you're doing," he was like, "you are putting fear in your mind," and he was like, "And because you got fear in your mind, and if you jump off the cliff, you are going to get hurt." And he was like, "Stop being in fear." He was like, "This is where you face yourself." And I'm like, "I really don't want to jump off this cliff. Like, but I don't want to leave." But I'm like, so it was that type of pressure to where I had to make a decision of whether I'm just going to walk away and not do it. And I don't think he was going to send me home, but that was just what he always threat, or I'm going to overcome this pressure and do it. And of course I did it. And I felt, and after I did it, I did feel good about myself, and nothing happened. But I will tell you, once I jumped off the cliff,
God damn.
do you see this glove? That's when the baby in my stomach started moving. That's when he started kicking, and I was like, "Whoa!" That was the first time after I jumped off the cliff and got out the water. That's when the baby started kicking. So even though that might sound horrendous to a lot of you, because of that type of pressure, and because he kept telling me, don't hold fear in your mind. Your mind and your wound is connected. Something's going to happen in your delivery. He used to say that all the time, scaring all the pregnant women. But I took heed to that. So when I decided to go to the mountain to give birth to Zen, I always remember that. And when that pressure hit, when that pain hit, I was able to alchemize it. I was able to go into it because that whole time I was there, he was always putting me under pressure. He was always telling me who I wasn't. And I always remained in my power, even when I was there. And it was like, "No, you ain't. I know who I am. Even if you tell me I'm not." And he used to act like he couldn't stand my ego. He was like, "Man, you got too much pride and ego." And I'm like, "Well, shoot. Like, well, somebody got to believe in me. If you don't," like, he used to act like he couldn't stand that. But because of that I was have a natural birth with no doctors, with my condition, with the baby's condition, and everything worked out. Everything worked out. It was easy. I gave birth to Zen with less than 30 minutes. It only took me 3 pushes. It took me 2 pushes. The third push, my water broke, it popped, and Zen came out with the water. Okay, and the midwife, she grabbed him, put him in the bucket, and then started pushing the placenta, helping me push the placenta out. The baby just sitting over there, like in the bucket. So I was able. That's why nothing happened, because of my belief and my faith, and me being able to work through pain and pressure. Because y'all women know when you are not in labor, shoo. And that's why when I hear the stories, and I'm glad he wasn't there, because I feel like if he was there, who knows what would have happened. I don't know, because he was scared for all the women that were pregnant. But that's why every single one of their delivery, that it didn't go as planned. Like when I heard Tori, she said she was scared. And that's why she was like, "I'm scared." She went to the hospital. And then that's when Belva went to the hospital. There was some complications. And I think even Kendra, she ended up getting a C-section. Because they had that. You can't have fear when you doing a natural birth. When you ain't doing no dog, you can't afford it. You cannot afford to have fear when you are having a baby natural. That's why so many women can't do it. So that's why I thank him for that pain and pressure that he put on me. I really do, because I don't think I would have been able to do it without it. I would have got scared once that contraction hit me in my spine. Like, oh my God! I said, I can't do this. I went to them, and I didn't even know what was going on. But I went and I got on my knees in front of the whole group. I said, "Y'all, please forgive me. I'm sorry. I am weak. I am weak. And I can't take this." And and I apologize to Evan for forgive me. My crazy butt in labor, and I'm asking them to forgive me because I didn't know. You know what I mean? So when I think back at that, it really makes me laugh, because I'm like, "Girl, you are crazy, but it was good. Look where your crazy."
Also, it was like you were breaking your ego part, because to have to be going through something in pain and then apologizing is like, that's probably the thing that you didn't want to do, right? Yeah. You didn't want to seem weak in front of people, and you just at some point stop resisting that, and you're like, okay, maybe I am weak, but I'm going through something right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, labor.
I know. Oh, let me see if you want to come. Let's see. Where he at? I want to see if you want to come. Oh. Hey, Twan. I haven't heard from you. I'd love to hear your perspective. I can't bring you into the live, Twan, but I'd love to hear what you, because you know you've been talking throughout this whole thing. But I can't add you, so I don't know what's up. If you don't want to come on, you don't have to. I was a bit surprised by Aaron and Kendra. They came out swinging. I think Truth said he would die for Nature Boy at one point, and Kendra used to check them women. You know? Yeah, but I wish them well. I wish them well on their journey, because they went through that, and now I hope they found their power. I hope they see how strong they was and what they can endure, and I hope they create a beautiful life together. I hope they move accordingly to what they think they deserve, and I hope they have a beautiful life. I hope they can come back and look at that situation and was like, man, we did that, but look at us. I wish that for them. I really do. You know? But they did what they felt. They made a decision. That was, they finally made a decision. And they made a decision to go to court. They made a decision to go to court and testify against them. And we may not agree with their decision, but hey, they made a choice. And that's the most powerful thing they could do, is making a choice.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think one of the things that I would like to just communicate to everybody that was there is you don't have to, it's not either the Babylon system and being a regular civilian, like, and just going along with that, or in the nature board carbonation situation, like, that's not the only two options for you. Like, you can create a life for yourself that you can manifest whatever it is that you resonate with, and you can work towards it and build whatever it is that you resonate with, and you can work towards it and build discipline, build structure in your life to achieve and accomplish that. And you could also take whatever you've experienced in life as a lesson to leverage it for your own good, and so you don't have to feel like it's just one or the other, and I think that a lot of times people that leave, and I felt that way too, like, you almost want to revert back to opposing everything that you learned or experienced at carbonation, and you kind of just pendulum